What's going on, folks? I want to show you how you could test your alternator when you can't get to it. On some vehicles, you may be able to actually get to your alternator because it may be like right on top of your engine. But on a lot of other vehicles, you may not be able to get to your alternator to test it at the alternator itself. So what you can do is test your alternator by testing your battery. The first thing you want to do is make sure that your battery's good, and to do that you want to take your multimeter. I'm showing you how to test with a multimeter, and go ahead and set your multimeter to test DC voltage. You're going to want to put your voltage to something above 15. Mine goes up to 20, so I got 20 volt. And once you do that, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and test your battery first. Your battery should show somewhere around like 12.3 to 12.7 for your battery itself. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and test this. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and test the battery. So like I said, you put it to DC voltage. You want to have it something above 15, or basically above 12. So 20 is good. 20 volts on here. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my multimeter and I'm going to find my ground connection, which is right here on this vehicle. Then I'm going to take my hot and touch onto my red connection. Depends on what type of battery you have. You want to put your ground on, then test with your red. And as you can see right there, I'm getting 12.69. What that tells me is that this battery is good on this vehicle. This is actually not the battery itself, but this is exactly where I would test it at, because the battery in this vehicle is actually inside the compartment, but I can test it here. So now what I'm going to want to do is go ahead and start the vehicle up, and this is going to allow me to test the alternator. So what I should get is something above like 14.5 to 14.7, which will tell me that the alternator is charging the battery. I'm going to do that now and I'll show you. Okay, so now I got the vehicle running. So now what should be going on is that the alternator should be sending power up to the battery to recharge my battery back up. So what we're looking to see is something above like 14, 14.2, possibly to 14.7. It just depends. So first thing I'm gonna do once again is take my ground lead, or my ground, and touch it on my ground first. But then what I'm going to do is go ahead and take my red lead and touch it in the same spot. And as you can see right there, I'm getting 14.3 to 14.2. So what that tells me is that my alternator is working correctly. It's putting out the right amount of power that it needs to be charging up my battery. Because your alternator also is what's being used to run the rest of your car's electrical system. So if you saw something like 13, even something almost at 12 or something below what your battery was, that tells you that your alternator is bad. So what you're going to want to see is something in the 14 range. Make sure you get a good connection. Yeah, so I can see right here that my alternator is putting out over 14 on my multimeter. So what that tells me is that my alternator is working correctly. Once again, I want to make this video to show you how you could test your alternator if you can't get to it, because a lot of your alternators could be like buried way down inside of your vehicle somewhere. You're not going to be able to get to it. Like on this vehicle, the alternator is like way down at the bottom down there, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get to it. Well, it's not going to be easy to get to it to actually test it at the alternator itself. So what you could do, like I said, is just test it at your battery to make sure that you're putting out the correct amount of power from your alternator. Alright folks, please check out our other helpful videos. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.